you're at the point where you can say you're the best wide receiver in the NFL? Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's not being conceited. That's just being confident. I think obviously what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do is going to prove that.
Such a quiet confidence about him. He's the kind of player that every play, every year, every game, you see him get better and better and work on it and work on it. And the numbers bear it out, guys, leading the NFL, averaging 112.5 receiving yards per game this season. DeAndre Hopkins, second on that list. Triggs, is Davante Adams the best wide receiver in the National Football League?
He is when he's on the field. He's had injury issues over the last couple seasons where Rodgers really misses him, and it really makes his appearance so valuable when he's out there. But gosh, last night, I said it on the show yesterday, and it really did bear out. 12-17, that's all they need. If they have 12-17, they're going to find a way to beat that 49ers squad. Here's the thing with Davante Adams. There really is no number two. We could talk about Lazard in the game he had against the Chargers or against the Saints, whatever it was where Lazard had those big numbers. Lazard's not in the same conversation as some of these other guys, number two. It's Davante Adams and Davante Adams alone out there in that wide receivers group. Take a look at the last few years that we've been a show. 2016, who leads the NFL in touchdowns? This might be a surprising list because those are some mega names below him, but it's a nice 8-touchdown lead, and it's Davante over all those guys since 2016, so it's not a flash in the pan. Look, there's the old head. It's Julio, and I roll my eyes saying the old head, but that's really what he is in this group. And then there's some of the younger guys like DK Metcalf, and then there's some of the more dynamic players, whether it be a Tyreek Hill or it be a DeAndre Hopkins. If I'm asking myself, who do I want? The one guy in a big spot, I want Adams, and I want Rodgers throwing him the rock. I think this guy is the best receiver in football, and there is no number two on that team that even comes close to the number two that those other guys have. I'm going to say Davante Adams, and it's not even close at this moment.
Yeah, he's amazing. If I had to win one drive, I'd go with Rodgers and Adams, but that's just it. Started the show today by saying I think they're the best tandem in all of sports, the two of those guys. It's tricky with football. Like, how much of what Adams does is because of Rodgers? Peter, that list that you showed, all those guys, but more or less, have incredible Hall of Fame MVP caliber quarterbacks, with the exception of Mike Evans, who's gotten the job done with the Jameis, et cetera, et cetera. I would just say this as opposed to Davante Adams. We know the guys like DeAndre and Julio are fantastic. Can he do anything that they can't do? Even some guys who are considered, quote-unquote, next second level. If you put Allen Robinson as the number one wide receiver on the Packers right now, is he doing those types of numbers? I think he might be. If you put someone like Stephon Diggs with Aaron Rodgers with no other option and you're just going to go to him all day and give him 7 years experience, is there anything Davante's doing that those guys can't? It's not a slight to him at all. It's a credit to the chemistry, and there's a lot of good receivers. I can't say in a vacuum he is better than everybody else, but when he's with 12, he's better than everybody in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, when it comes to Davante Adams, guys like Michael Thomas, they're always in the top of the conversation. And we should be showing Michael Thomas more love. You know, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. But because he's absent and so many other wide receivers are making plays, it's hard for us to show him as much appreciation in the moment, even though he still is one of the best receivers in the game. But you mentioned chemistry and a guy making it happen no matter where he is. DeAndre Hopkins is that. He's the definition of a dude that just seamlessly works in and out of systems. I mean, he was catching with Deshaun Watson, and we know he was the go-to guy. Then he got to Arizona, and I have to be honest, I didn't know if Kyler Murray was going to be able to deliver the ball as well as Deshaun Watson did to DeAndre. They started working right away, and they seemed like one of the best duos in all of football, and they'd only been knowing each other for months. Let me repeat that. They've only been knowing each other for months. Now imagine, the more they get to know each other, the more DeAndre gets to learn the playbook, and Kyler Murray gets to know how he really likes to run routes, how he gets out of his brace, where he likes the ball placed. I feel like this combination is going to get better and better. DeAndre Hopkins, for the course of his career, I think at large, we appreciate him, but I don't think we truly understand how well he catches the ball in traffic. As far as contested rocks on the sideline, in the end zone, over the middle of the field, DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best. We can't go wrong. As a wide receiver, I have to say this. We can't go wrong. They are all at the top of their game. But I'm picking DeAndre Hopkins because he's been doing it for a long time in a couple of different systems.